Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Royal Cyber's Partner Podcast series, your go to destination for discussion on emerging technologies and future trends related to the e commerce industries. I'm your host, Aditya, Partner Sales Manager here at Royal Cyber, and I welcome you all. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're already a part of this family, get ready for an insightful conversation. Today, we are going to be covering future of headless CMS, DXM, the ongoing shift to omni-channel commerce, how to make the digital ecosystem more agile, and the importance of data privacy and compliance in the digital transformation era. To talk about this today, we have with a lovely guest, Paul. He is the VP of Solutions Engineering at CrownPeak. Paul, it's a complete pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you for making time to join us. Please feel free to tell a little bit about yourself and the company and your role. Then let's dive in right in.
Perfect. Thanks for hosting me today, Aditya. It's genuinely a pleasure to be here.
Same here.
Crown Peak is all about AI-powered content and commerce. Our digital experience platform puts content and commerce at the forefront of the buyer's journey. With personalized content and scale, AI-driven commerce search, merchandising and recommendations, the customer always wins with the best experience possible. Personally, I've seen quite a lot at Crown Peak, having been in this business for over 10 years and having worked within the digital marketing arena for over 25 years. Today, I find myself working with customers, partners, and analysts to deliver market-leading solutions to their business transformation challenges.
Well, I must say that's a great introduction, Paul, and many years of experience. So coming to my first question, how does Crown Peak support companies that are looking to make their digital ecosystems more agile?
It's a great question, and it's on the forefront of everybody's mind right now. I guess, for me, this all comes down to the customer's expectations and how
Mm-hmm.
they're now growing exponentially. Gone are the days when an organization just builds something and then customers show up. You now have to follow the customer wherever they want to be and wherever they're going, whether it's the one that shouts the loudest to the customer in their language at precisely the right time, and that's who's going to win. And this is what Amazon, Apple, and Google have changed in the world. They've shifted the game for everyone. At
Right.
Crown Peak, we provide a series of platforms that are composable in nature. And this means that we don't force an organization to buy everything from us. That
Mm-hmm.
would limit their ability to communicate with their customers. Instead, organizations can pick as many pieces of the Crown Peak portfolio as they like and then interconnect them with an unlimited number of third-party capabilities. And that ultimately builds a customer experience architecture that really works to serve their customer in turn. And the benefit in doing that is
Mm-hmm.
you get to make the most of your existing investments rather than having to rip and replace everything. And ultimately,
Mm.
that will help drive operational efficiencies.
I think, yeah, great insights there, Paul. Can you also share how Crown Peak's headless CMS differs from the other ones in the market?
Yeah, for sure. We actually have a very different take on this hybrid, headless
Mm-hmm.
category. There are lots of
Mm-hmm.
vendors that fit into this.
Mm-hmm.
We have two distinct ways to deploy content from the CMS. Clearly, headless
Mm-hmm.
is one of them, and that means that developers can work with content managed in Crown Peak via our RESTful and GraphQL APIs, and then use that inside any application use case that they can design. But it's actually the second, well, technically the first
Mm-hmm.
deployment method that stands us apart and helps
Mm-hmm.
customers create significant advantages. And that is our static content delivery model.
Mm-hmm.
Think of Crown Peak as a giant publishing engine, a static site generator, if you will. Developers build a configuration that describes the payload that they'd like to
Mm-hmm.
receive for a particular site, group of sites, section, page, or an individual content item. And then the platform creates that asset at publishing time and deploys it to any third-party location worldwide. It sounds simple, and it really, really is. But the beauty of this is that we don't force a technology standard on our customers, nor do we restrict how and where the managed content can be used.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really cool about that is that organizations are then free to choose the language, the technology, the
Mm,
framework, the caching strategy, or the security policy that they prefer. And Crown Peak will deliver exactly that for them.
mhm,
Now, the reality, is we call this mixture of publishing models hybrid headless,
mhm,
but it's really much more than that. It's a publish anything,
mm.
anywhere mentality, and that perfectly supports both marketing and technology use cases.
Great. And I think I must say Crown Peak's hybrid headless model sounds really interesting. And Paul, coming to my third question, it would be how does Crown Peak handle content management for brands across multiple channels?
That's something we have to do a lot nowadays,
Mm,
and really for us, it's about extending on the previous answer. The publishing models that we have.
mhm,
As you can deliver content using any technology or framework and deliver that everywhere, this suddenly becomes a straightforward problem for us to solve for our customers.
right.
Let's say, like many organizations, you're delivering content across multiple digital touchpoints: web, mobile, Internet of Things, portal, kiosk, digital signage, smart TV.
Mhm,
I mean, the number of channels are growing exponentially as well. Typically, brands have to deploy multiple content authoring platforms or
right.
CMSs to support the management of those messages across the
Mm,
platforms. It's not really uncommon for one authoring platform to only be capable of delivering to one digital channel. The result of that is that the message, this critical one-to-one conversation with the customer, becomes fragmented. It
mhm,
becomes inconsistent and
right.
generic, and ultimately that's going to reduce the brand's impact during the customer journey. And of course, in worst case, that drives them to their competitors.
Mm,
In a Crown Peak world, brands don't have this problem because they have complete choice of what they deliver, where, and how. So it doesn't actually matter whether they have a static HTML website or a PHP, .NET, or Java kiosk application. It
mhm,
doesn't matter whether the digital signage they want to deliver content to expects XML or the kiosk wants to consume real-time data using a RESTful API. Crown Peak supports all of that seamlessly. And I guess to take that just one step further, if I may, quite
mhm,
often specific digital channels are ignored as they have
mm,
legacy platforms that deliver that content. Think about,
mm,
a portal inside an organization. It works, you don't want to fix it, but equally you
mhm,
can't afford the cost to replace it. That cost of rip and replace is huge. And so quite often organizations just don't do it. But that's where
right.
Crown Peak can help. Crown Peak can deliver content precisely in the same format as those existing legacy systems, in addition to all the other channels we talked about earlier. And that does two things. Firstly, it massively extends the usable life of your legacy platforms, and that in
Mhm,
turn drives efficiencies. And
mm.
secondly, it puts you in complete control of the customer message across every single touch point, and that is the name of the game.
Wow. And that's really wonderful example and insights there, Paul. My final question for you would be how does Crown Peak help companies stay compliant with evolving data practice privacy's law, right?
Yeah, and evolving is absolutely the right term there. They change
Mm-hmm.
every single day. I guess
Right.
there are two ways that we fundamentally help our customers with this. Firstly, Crown Peak has a digital governance platform, and that helps organizations with their exposure to many
Mm-hmm.
compliance challenges. We have tools that help audit interconnectivity with third-party tags and help
Okay.
describe the associated security risks. We have tools that help limit your exposure to these third parties by leveraging many of the modern browsers' privacy capabilities. And finally, tools that help your customer make an informed choice about where and how they'd like their data to be
Mm-hmm.
used. I think, secondly, back to the content management system and
Mm-hmm.
its publishing architecture. The separation of content management from content delivery means that as well as sending content for any technology or framework, we also get to control the breadth of the content that we deploy. So
Mm.
let's suppose, Aditya, your organizational security policy requires a specific content structure,
Yeah.
which we can support. And so
Mm-hmm.
as you get control of what you deploy, you can also limit the breadth of that content. You choose to deploy applications that expose very little sensitive content to your customers, or
Mm-hmm.
applications with a really, really narrow vulnerability or threat landscape. You can also deploy to third-party delivery
Hmm.
platforms
Right.
with higher levels of information security and operational control than others. And so, in conclusion, ultimately, it's that same publishing architecture that brings enterprise agility and then promotes enterprise-wide security, compliance, and fundamentally, that's about customer trust.
Great. And I think we have covered all the questions today. Thank you so much, Paul. This was really a brilliant conversation, and we were able to explore in today's discussion. Businesses navigating digital transformation can achieve remarkable agility and innovation by adopting composable solutions. The future of headless CMS and DXM lies in empowering brands to deliver seamless omni-channel experiences while staying adaptable in a rapidly evolving landscape. See, embracing data privacy and compliance is no longer optional. It's central to building trust and driving growth. The shift to omni-channel commerce is a strategic imperative, and composable architectures offer the flexibility to thrive in this environment. Together, these trends position businesses to deliver impactful and personalized digital experiences. Once again, I would really like to thank you, Paul, for making time to join us. It was a pleasure hosting you today. And for the audience, thank you so much for joining our partner podcast episode with Crown Peak. Do share, like, and comment below if you have any feedback or questions on the episode. Thanks, everyone. Signing off.